Welcome back to another exciting rendition of Hooligan's pitch. I don't know about you, Michael, but I am pumped up.
Yeah, I can't say the same, Chad. I can't say the same. But what a weekend full of surprises and sadness, but also excitement. And we had a car ride to St. Louis yesterday. Arsenal game on in the car. Good vibes coming to the right of me. But I don't know. I was just kind of bummed out the entire time, and I'm ready to just go to next season and hit reset. So where should we start? Should we start with the lows, the highs, the stuff that made us angry? That's kind of where I want to start. The anger.
Yeah, let's get it out early.
All right, let's talk about the Manchester Derby, because that was one of the weirdest games I think I've seen of the year. Possibly the worst call ever made at least in 2023. It's only been 16 days.
For sure, but I think you could even go back, 3, 4, 5 seasons probably and not find a worse call.
Probably. And we're so angry over this, we forgot to even open our beers. So let's get on this fast. I know, we're so ready. I'm drinking it all day because it's all I got. So cracking that bad boy.
Fair enough. I got a little gin and grapefruit concoction going here.
Was that for your Christmas gift set?
Yeah, it's I don't even know what it's called, but it's a purple gin. Pretty tasty. It's a little bit on the sweeter side, but it's really nice.
Shout outs, Jimmy. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Man, okay, so 2-1 Manchester United.
2-1.
Great for the standings.
Fantastic.
That is I think that's the result a lot of people and neutrals wanted. But how we got there is one of the most disturbing ways it could ever happen. Let's go into the mind of the referee here. Okay? All of them. Every single one. Because they all suck.
Yeah.
Rashford is offside by 5 meters.
It's a clear he's past the last defenders. Like there's no pull out the lines to check. You don't need it.
No. And I want to say the ref, the linesman was like, yeah, duh, offside. The ball gets played through. Great ball by Casemiro if Rashford was onside. The man runs his little heart out, clearly knows he's offside.
Yeah.
Goes to, what do you want to call it? You want to call it a pump fake? You want to call it a hezzy? A fake out?
I don't know if I'd call it a pump fake or anything necessarily, but like he definitely starts the shooting action.
He starts something. It doesn't even need to be defined as to what. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he did.
I mean, honestly, before we even get to the shot, while he has not touched the ball, he's playing the ball, right? He's following the path of the pass, playing the ball.
I don't understand what is the definition of playing? Isn't it any type of movement towards the ball? That means you're playing it. When we play FIFA, and I know FIFA's whatever, it's EA, it does its thing. But if you go after the ball in any way, shape, or form, they'll call you offside. Even if you don't go after the ball, sometimes it calls you offside. So in what world does this guy run after the ball? How far would you say he ran? 20 meters after the ball? Because it was just outside the 18, I think, when he stopped going for it.
I mean, he basically started right past the halfway line and then, at the top of the box. So.
And then Bruno came in and blasted it. Great shot by him. Great mindset by him to be like, Rashford didn't touch this ball. The referee might not call him offside. I better go and do it. So I don't blame him at all. I don't blame Rashford at all. I think Rashford was like, I'm going to play this until the ball's dead because that's what you're supposed to do. But for the ref and even the commentator at the time, I don't remember who the referee professional sideline color commentator was, but he was like, Rashford didn't go for the ball, blah, 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 so therefore it's not offside. I was like, what's he talking about?
And that's the thing is you talk to any fan or even some of the former refs and players and stuff have made comments on it. Like everyone's on the same page. Like this was offside. So now it's embarrassing to hear these commentators try and be like, yeah, because he didn't touch the ball, it's not offside. It's like, no, like it's more than just touching the ball. Like he influenced the play from an offside position. Like because he's making that run onto the ball, defenders position themselves accordingly. The keeper positions himself accordingly. Like, how is this not an influence of the play just because he didn't touch it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And we've seen like this call on like a smaller scale where like someone's standing offside in the box and makes like one little like towards the ball and they call it off. It's just one of the most ridiculous calls I've seen. Makes no sense.
I can't wait for the day when referees can be held accountable at the end of a game, when reporters get to ask them, the hell is wrong with you? In any sport. It just doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand how hard it must be to ref a live game of any sport, but like that's why we got VAR, right? To help supplement that and give the ref a chance at a second look and a second opinion and stuff. And
but it didn't even matter. VAR doesn't even matter. What did VAR do to VAR didn't do anything?
And as far as I had heard, I don't know that VAR even checked it. Like,
no, I don't believe they did.
There was never a stop. The ref just went over and talked to his line ref and was like, "Yeah, cool, goal." Like, it's just, I don't know. I completely get Manchester City's frustration with that goal, because that was just such a big swing in momentum, and not only are you just giving up a goal, but like you give up a goal that shouldn't be a goal. So like now you're feeling like a little bit I don't know, like everyone's against you sort of thing, and like it's got to be hard to come back from that. And I mean, just a couple minutes later, United get their second goal, so it's like it should maybe be 1-1 at the end of this game, which I think is still a result that helps a lot of teams on the table. But man.
Well, here's what Pep said at the end of that game. Akanji stops the line of running. If he knows that he's going to go with Rashford, he will go back with him and do the duel 1 versus 1, and he sees what happens. But he sees Rashford intervene, so he has to play to Rashford. It's not Akanji's job to be the determiner of if he's going to be offside or not. And I understand, like, he was so clearly offside that can't influence a defender's perspective on, like, do I give up on the play? And he didn't, but he had to then play like there were 2 attackers instead of the one, because this delayed response by these linesmen of them being told don't call it offside initially, even if it's like clearly offside. It'll be really interesting to see how they change this rule going forward, because there's no way that can happen again.
No, because after that, I was kind of just looking at the rest of the games I watched and just kind of paying attention to these moments where guys are offside, and like there are moments where people just are standing offside, and whether the pass is coming to them or not, like if we're gonna say you're not offside because you didn't touch the ball, now what? You can almost cherry pick now, and as long as you don't touch the ball right away and like you let someone else get it first, then it's like you're good to go. Like I don't know.
I saw this awesome theory. What if Akanji just straight bodied Rashford? Just straight like slid into his knees? That play wouldn't count. He wouldn't even get a card, or maybe he'd get a card. But in the rule book, that play is dead because he's in an offside position, so there shouldn't even be anything to follow that up. It really makes you wonder now, if players see a person offside, will they just like grab them to like show they were intervening? It makes sense now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll kind of see if more situations like this come up. But I mean, I'm thinking now, if you're a defensive player or like a defensive coach, you almost have to say, kill him. Like you can't let him through at any cost now. It's...
I would grab him. I would tell him, if you see someone offside and you know they're offside, grab them.
Yeah.
Because then they are officially influence the play because you are then touching the. I don't know, man. This is so dumb. What a dumb rule.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like everyone was pretty clear on it up until this moment, and then now it's been thrown into question again. Like,
I know. And there have been like the butt offsides, which happened in the World Cups. Like,
yeah.
but like I get it. That's body positioning. That has nothing to do with someone clearly being offside and essentially running at the ball until the very last second. Yeah, mind-boggling. That's a crazy one.
That was a wild start to the weekend. I feel like I mean, the game itself was, pretty good back and forth. Like United looked decent the whole time.
Yeah,
They kept City to 5 shots. It was just one on target. Like they played well, and then for it to kind of blow up into this call, and United ended up getting the win, was just felt very. I don't know, like United of like back in the day when you heard that they would always get these crazy calls and all the conspiracy and stuff around them, and I don't know, I would be interested to see whatever like reffing panel that did the VAR review a couple weeks ago, if they do a review of this like at the end of the season and what they say.
You got it. You have to.
Yeah.
Well, in collaboration with Eric Ten Hag, I'm wearing my Ajax jersey because that's what Man United is now turning into. So congrats to them. I give them more props than my team at this moment because if we can just jump to them really quick.
If you really want to.
I really do, because they made me sub out Mo Salah after this weekend because I'm like, I had them last week in my top 4 and I regret it so bad.
I was thinking that too when I was watching. I was like, oof, maybe I placed them a little too high.
I believe they sit 8th or 9th in the table right now with Brighton jumping them. Yeah, we're 9th in the table. Brighton just jumped us. Kudos to Brighton, man. They look great.
Yeah, they're looking really good.
March had a great game. McAllister, man, what a humble dude. Did you see him going around driving with his World Cup medal?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was pretty miserable watching that game.
I mean, I kind of went into that game, thinking it could be a rough one for Liverpool, just because like they do have a good amount of injuries to key players, and otherwise they just haven't been that great this year, whereas Brighton's been looking pretty good. And I did not expect the 3-0 though. That was a little bit much.
We just have no creativity to attack, hence why I dropped Salah until they figure out something. All this hype around Jude Bellingham getting brought in has just disappeared. Where did that go? Because that's all I saw during the World Cup is like Liverpool's going for their guy. And I truly believe if we got him, mentality would change. I think everyone would have a little bit more aggression and urgency. But we got Gakpo, which is great, but that's not what we needed. We didn't need another guy to be up top.
I just I feel bad for Gakpo right now. Just he just came into the team, still kind of learning everyone and the tactics and stuff. But he's needed to play right now because of injuries. So he just is thrown up top for this game, which is not even his normal position.
No, we definitely threw him into the wolves. So
yeah, like I hope fans and everything also realize that and don't jump on him, because
not his fault. No
he's
way.
supposed to be a great talent and have a lot of potential. So, you just unfortunately joined Liverpool at a rough time. But oh well.
Well, here's our injury list. Luis Diaz, Virgil, Arthur Melo. LOL. We don't need to go there.
Oh my god! Wow. Forgot about it.
His expected due back date is February 4th. Do you over or under?
I just feel like you won't even see him.
I'm with you. I don't think we'll ever see him in a Liverpool jersey. Diego Jota, Nunez, and Firmino all out.
Ay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't say I expected a 3-0 loss, but I do expect this season to kind of dwindle.
mhm.
Um, I, I pray that Klopp is not going to be this person to
That,
blame, even though he did nothing in the midfield. I get that.
yeah,
He was
that's what I was
banking.
going to ask you. Is like
Mhm.
the safety of Klopp now is maybe starting to come into people's minds.
But who would replace him?
Yeah, I don't know. And like we said at the start of the season, Liverpool's squad was a championship winning squad, and yeah, you kind of just want to let them age out for the most part. Like they were really good. You want to kind of keep rolling with that and supplement where you can. And it's not necessarily Klopp's fault that transfers don't happen and all that. So I think it'd be smart to hang on to him because yeah, who's your alternative right now? I don't know.
Stevie G.
That was it. Yeah, he's just Villa didn't work, but he was like not really trying because he was just saving himself for Liverpool.
Yeah. And I'd be cool with everyone just chilling out for the year, make this
Yeah,
the rebuild year. I mean, it's been 5-6 years of just nonstop going
oh
hard, putting
yeah,
record breaking point seasons while still losing or coming in second place. So it's not like the
yeah,
team hasn't been trying these last half of a decade. Champions League final 3 out of the last 4 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhere around there. It's somewhere around that number. So I'm not surprised that this is kind of the end of an era, but a couple tweaks, maybe no
mhm,
Champions League next year, and we're right back in it. At least I think so. This
yeah,
club has enough depth, especially in the attacking. Front 3 or 4, however they're going to throw it out there.
yeah,
And Ox was playing the false 9, and I did like that a lot. But again, we just need some midfield tweaks, and I think we can be right back in it. Konate is a great defender. Robertson and Alexander Arnold are still super young.
yeah, yeah.
Virgil
It's
is
really just that midfield. You have some older, experienced guys, which is great, but I think yeah, you do need to kind of supplement it with just some young, lively, like runners, right? Like people that can either create or just make the runs to pull defenders every which way. And yeah, I think Liverpool's future is still bright. It just this is not the season, which will happen.
can't
Just
win them
can't let it
all.
become can't let it become like a every season now is just this or worse. And I don't think that'll happen. I think
No, I don't think so either. I think it's just one of those anomalies, and we all have to come to terms with it. But again, we still got a lot of games to go. Anything can happen. This was just a moment of oh shit, oh shit.
yeah.
But hey, it could be worse, Chad. We could be West Ham. We
Oh
could
my
be
god.
West Ham. Are they terrible or what?
I don't know how David Moyes is still there,
I don't know
honestly.
either.
Like at this point, it has to be he just negotiated some crazy, you know, package if he gets fired, so they don't want to pay it or something. Like
They have the most
that,
losses in Premier League.
it does make sense. Like that squad maybe didn't compete last year, but was decent. Like it, I did get nervous going up against West Ham last year, and all of a sudden they come into this season, make a few signings, and are worse.
Good signings too. It wasn't like they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
shit signings.
No, yeah, I thought they did some pretty good work in the transfer market, but
Chad, they finished 2 points under Man United last year.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like they were kind of on that outside of the top six, the
So
big six. But
yeah, I know we're all worked up over Liverpool, man. We just got to look at the Leicesters and the West
yeah,
Hams and the Evertons who've just like fallen off. So credit to Wolves though. Wolves got out of relegation zone.
yeah, I think they're finally starting to kind of get something together. Still not the Wolves of a couple seasons ago, but I mean they're one of those teams too where they have enough talented players on there. They just gotta get it to click.
Now, are you a believer in Brentford getting to top 6?
Brentford in top six. Where do they sit right now?
The standings are crazy tight. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Tottenham, 5th at 33. Fulham, 6th at 31, which is awesome. Brighton, 7th, 30. Brentford, 8th, 29 points. And then Liverpool, 9th, 28 points. And Liverpool and Brighton are 2 games down from Fulham. They each have 18. Fulham has 20 games played. And then Brighton with 18. And Tottenham with 19. So I think after this next week, everyone will be level again. Let's go out of these 5 teams: Tottenham, Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool. Who do you have at the 5, 6?
5, 6.
Let's make it fun. Let's throw Chelsea in there too because they're 10th.
Yeah, that's fair. 5, 6. I think. Man. I think.
Do you want current forms?
No.
Because Tottenham ain't it.
I know. That's what I'm trying to figure out where to place them. I'm going to say. You know what? I'm just going to go for it here. I think Brighton is going to jump their way up to 5.
Yep, that's what I just wrote down.
I think Tottenham might survive in 6th.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after this weekend and what you saw?
Well, it's Tottenham every week, but
it's every week. They're not going to make 6th.
Yeah, but every week they somehow grind out the win, and this week we put a stop to it.
So you don't think Fulham can hold that 6th spot?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know. They looked really well organized against Newcastle this week, but I don't know that there's enough attacking creativity in there to really push them through on some games. Their only goal in this week was Mitrovic, and he had a little slip in there. And
dude, we didn't leave the house until that PK happened. And I was like, Chris, I just want to watch the PK before we go. She's like, great.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, we were locking up. And I was like, I didn't have sound on. I was like, what's happening? I was like, what's happening? And I looked at it and I didn't see him kick the ball and it hit his other foot. But I was like, come on. Now hang on. They got to crack down on teams messing with the PK spot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that whole situation wouldn't have happened had Newcastle players not been scuffing up the spot and stuff.
That was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that a pretty easy thing to do as a referee, to stand on the PK spot and be like, everyone back off. If you touch this, you get a yellow.
Yeah. I think that's probably the way they got to do it, is just, ref, you have to impose yourself. You're already making this potentially controversial call. I get it. But you got to still allow this to be a fair opportunity for the team that was fouled, right? So protect the spot, and it'll have been beat up a little bit just through the run of play. That's fine. But yeah, when guys go over there and are purposefully, chopping it up and making it just a mess,
sportsmanship my ass. Come on. It just blows my mind that players can do that and get away with it. And I get it.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, you're not trying hard. But at the same time, the Mitrovic situation. Now, granted, he might just suck at those because he does have a record for really blowing PKs.
Yeah.
But that one was just I don't know. How do you kick a ball and slip and then have it hit your other foot and then still go in the goal, which is just wild.
Yeah. So, I kind of had a similar situation to you where I was, this game was before the Arsenal-Tottenham game. So,
right.
I was watching it, but, it was early. So, I was, kind of in and out of a little bit of a sleep here and there. And I woke up, watched this PK go in, and then, fell back asleep. I was like, oh, cool. That should kind of be the game, maybe. And then woke up at the end, and it was, 1-0 to Newcastle. And I was like, did I just dream the PK? Or I was so confused. I had to go look back, and like you had sent some messages and stuff, and I was like, oh, weird.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen a double
Yeah.
kick. I do, not because I just picked Mitrovic in our league. I think it's a little harsh to call that a miss.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
He didn't miss it. He just fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. I don't know what you would call it, statistically, but um, to as stat tracking to call it a miss, I think is pretty harsh. It should just be a I don't know, unsuccessful PK or something, right? Like,
But like in the ref's head, and I would think in the play-by-play, it was. I would call it. We'll have to look up the exact rule, but like striker interference or like something along those lines.
yeah,
Not penalty missed, because the penalty never really happened. Unless they're saying the double touch thing is part of a PK kick, and I don't know.
I mean, I
It
guess
hurt me a little inside to have to go through that.
yeah, I think their kind of thinking is that you have the PK and like, yes, it happens, but you took the kick and now it doesn't count, so like you missed it. But yeah, it's harsh. You just chose your team at the wrong time.
I was so pumped the night before. I was like, this is it. Like, line change. Injury news for Bruno. The quote is he was very distressed. He was in a lot of pain. He twisted his ankle. He felt he could run it off. In the end, he needed to be withdrawn. That sucks.
See, I'm kind of wondering how this will evolve, because like he rolled it at like 15, 16 minutes in, and from the replay it looks a pretty good roll. But then he kind of comes back on right away and is a little tender, and for the rest of the half didn't do too much, like looked a little bit uncomfortable, but they left him out there to play another 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it would have been that bad, or Bruno's just running on the adrenaline of the game and everything, and thinks he's doing fine, and then is just making it worse.
Well, they got Newcastle. I'm sorry, they got Crystal Palace next, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't play him that game.
It's probably a good. I'd say probably a good bet. You rest him. Like that should be a winnable game for you.
Yeah, and then when they come back from the Cup, they'll have West Ham and Bournemouth. So they have a pretty easy schedule coming up.
Okay.
So we'll see if he gets brought back. Yeah, I just had bad timing. That was awful.
Yeah.
Joachim Anderson from Crystal Palace too, calf injury. There's no news on that though, besides Vieira saying it did not look good. But I'm like, that's so vague. That can mean so many things.
I mean, and just thinking with Tomiyasu on Arsenal, he had a calf injury and he was out for like a couple months. So it could be bad, or it could just be a little strain or something. So
if I have to make 2 subs this week, I'm gonna. I think I'm going to. If those guys aren't playing for months, I'm going to.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on that for sure.
Oh, that's so painful. So painful. What a joke. I still am on Chelsea being a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, after watching
João Felix didn't sway your opinion of them?
Well, I think he looked really good. Don't get me wrong. I think his challenge was the dumbest thing you could possibly do in your debut. But I thought he was kind of the bright, shining moment for Chelsea, and I would be very happy when we see him back in 3 weeks or so. So, what an idiot! Why would he do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he definitely looked good, especially compared to like how Chelsea attack has looked previously. But well, I guess we'll have to wait to see how he really meshes with the team, because he's got a little bit of a break.
Yeah, that's crazy, and maybe it'll be good for him to just be in training and like, I don't know, work out the simple things. Kind of like it's like Gakpo. They kind of just threw him in there, but I don't know. Felix looked pretty good. All right, is it time to talk about your boys?
Well, we didn't even finish your 5, 6, 7.
Oh, mine? List. Oh, yeah. Let's keep going. Okay, so I'm doing Brentford. I got the double Bs in the 5, 6. So that leaves Fulham, because I'm also going to stand with Liverpool being fourth because they were in my top four, and I think I had
Yeah.
them. I think I had them third or fourth. Let me look at my notes. I'm pretty sure I had them. I think I was feeling myself last week, and I think I had them at third, but we'll call them fourth right now.
Okay.
So then we have Fulham, Chelsea, and who am I missing here?
The tater tots.
Yes. Oh, and the Spurs, because I don't have them in
Dang.
top six. So, yeah, Spurs aren't making my top six. So let's go. I'm going to keep Chelsea at 10th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're moving. I'm going to bring Fulham down to 9th. We're going to go Tottenham at 8th. Do I have my numbers right here? 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, Brighton and Brentford 4, 5. Who am I missing? Fulham.
Well, what? Because you have Liverpool at 4, right?
Yeah,
Or
sorry.
3.
So yeah, let's just start from the top. I have it written down better here. I'll have Liverpool 4, Brighton 5, Brentford 6, Fulham 7th, Tottenham 8th. Yeah, we'll call Chelsea 9th. That's fine.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea's going to move much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they made some signings and
Oh, they spent so much money.
they got a win this weekend, so maybe
Barely.
they're moving up now.
They
Yeah.
lost. They lost to Fulham 5
Yeah.
days ago, and then they beat Palace. It's nothing for me. That's nothing special.
Yeah.
And only beating them 1-0 after Crystal Palace's best defender went out.
It's fair. And Crystal Palace did have a lot of good looks. They just could not get the ball in the net. So
Yeah, how many shots on target they end up putting? Shoo, 5 with God. How many freaking shots? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 shots with a ton of yellows. So
Dang.
they were aggressive. It just didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
So and you're sticking with Brighton at 5, and you're going Tottenham 6.
Yeah, Brighton, Tottenham.
Are you going to keep Liverpool in your top 4? Late season run. Salah comes alive.
Salah just put the team on his back, and
I mean, at this point,
he's gonna have to. No, see, I think Newcastle will take 4th,
whoa.
and I think Brighton. I'll go Brighton, Liverpool, Spurs.
Yeah, get out of here, Tottenham.
Then probably Fulham, Chelsea, Brentford.
Wow, Brentford at the 9 spot.
Yeah, I mean they look good, but
Ivan
I
Toney,
don't know.
man. Ivan Toney.
Yeah, but he kind of goes hot and cold, and if he can stay consistent, I think they have a chance of staying higher. But yeah, I don't know.
You don't think his goal output is consistent enough? I understand they come in batches right now, but I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
he looks better. I mean, he's getting. I don't want to say he's getting better, but I think he looks pretty good. He's definitely motivated. 13 goals on the season, 17 appearances. That's solid.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Brentford still feels a little too. I don't know. They feel too like mid-table team still, not enough to really challenge up higher.
They don't have that marquee player.
Mhm.
I mean, Tony is arguably their best, but yeah, they don't really have like a number 2, or at least a name where like, oh, that guy, like, yeah, he can carry them. So I understand that. I feel like they're kind of in like that West Ham phase where West Ham kind of like shot up in the standings, stayed there for a while. We'll see what they can hold on to, and then hopefully not go to where West Ham is now.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other notable games besides the
Um,
one we're all dying to talk about here?
no, I mean nothing else is too. I mean, I guess Forest winning over Leicester is a little surprising, but it's also just been Leicester this season is doing that.
Pretty
So
pretty Leicestery.
yeah, yeah.
When you
So I
got
think everything else is pretty expected. You know.
as much as I love Vardy, man, it's time to
Oh yeah,
let
yeah.
the man rest.
He's done. He can make a late game sub just to give your starting striker a rest, but
I know. I don't understand why he's playing the full game at 36 years old. Like
yeah.
Brendan Rodgers effect. Does he want out? Back to
Probably.
Liverpool? I don't know.
Probably. I think Rodgers is trying to get out for a long time now, but then Leicester said, "Look, man, we're not paying you to leave. You got to stay."
Dude, it's crazy. There's 6 teams right now within 2 points of the bottom 3.
Yeesh.
It's ugly down there.
I
Ugly.
feel like we normally get a bigger split by this point, right? Like you normally kind of
20
have
games in, yeah.
one or two that are like, oh yeah, they're definitely going down, which I guess you kind of maybe do here. Like, Bournemouth is on a downward trend. I mean, Wolves were, but finally starting to pick it up. Like,
Yeah, they've won 2 out of the last 6 with a draw in there too.
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. Everton,
yeah.
West Ham, and Southampton all at the bottom with 15.
Yeesh.
Ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly. Okay,
Well,
so before we talk about this subject, I have to do this project for school, and it's about positive leadership, and the question of the prompt was like, who in your life or who have you seen as a positive coach, and list the reasons why. And Kristen goes, "You're gonna do Arteta, right?"
dang.
I look at her, I was like, "Dude, killing
She
me,
bought in,
killing me, man." Yeah, so we watched about half that game in the car, and then just did a couple updates while we were at brunch and stuff. But we saw the Saka goal. Was that the weirdest goal of I don't want to say of the season because we've seen just a lot of weird stuff go on, but
Yeah.
that was a weird one by Hugo.
I mean, for me, I feel like it should be counted as Saka's goal, not
I
an
think
own
so
goal.
too.
Because to me, while it may have been a cross technically, I don't know, but like Hugo's the one that messes up the save, right? So is that just not like if it was a normal shot and it hit his hand and went in, like why is that?
Yeah, so if he catches that ball, is it a claim or a save? I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I guess by these rules or these metrics, no. I don't understand that one either. I don't know why it was granted to him. Fantasy wise, I'm so happy it wasn't, because I needed a break and that was my one break.
yeah, but I mean, I think for the game itself, it was maybe better to happen as an own goal because now he's already made this critical error early on.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be feeling a little shaky and, maybe his back line will feel a little bit shaky now too. But yeah, I mean, like I don't think Saka hit it overly hard or anything either. It just kind of right to him. And he just like, I don't know, dolphin fin or like whale fins tried to catch it. Like,
He was at SeaWorld right now.
yeah, for sure.
I didn't get to watch a huge portion of that game. But what was Tottenham doing to just to suck? Like as far as I know, I looked at the stats and the heat map and everything, and there wasn't anything special.
I mean, like it's literally the same Tottenham performance we've seen all season. That first half, they're just miserable. Like no one looks up for it. Like, no good passing, no good runs. They let in the first goal, which I think is pretty standard for them at this point. I think the stat at the start of the game was 27 of Tottenham's 37 goals had come in the second half.
How many? 27 of 37?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and like that makes sense because so many of these games they go in at half either down or 0-0 and grind out the win. So cool, that worked out. But I mean, yeah, at this point, like, I don't know if it's being coached this way to come out and just like, we're just gonna kind of be out there and see how the other team plays, and then we'll adapt at halftime. But I wouldn't think you would want to do that.
That's Conte, man. No, I think it is. I think Conte's
so?
Yeah, I don't think Conte's used to being like down. I think he's so used to going into halftime being even and then making that second half push, which is obviously what we're seeing. Problem is he's going down into halftime.
Yeah.
Consistently. Obviously, they're scoring 10 goals in the first half this season out of the first 20 games. That's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
That's that's not a good look. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
I don't know. And I would think, if it is being coached that way, I'm surprised we don't see or hear more backlash from players in the dressing room or at training and stuff. And if it's not being coached that way, then I think you have a pretty big question on your hands of, okay, well, if the players don't want to follow Conte's game plan from the start, like, you gotta get him out of there, right? Because no one's listening to him at this point. And while, yeah, you're sitting in an okay position right now, just think if you played the full 90 minutes like you do the second halves, like, you could probably be in an even better position. So,
and I like to think of the mentality of it too. It's a lot harder to catch up rather than go up and then have the other team catch up. So I don't know. If that is Conte's mentality, why not reverse it? And in the first half, do what you're doing in the second half and score 27 goals in the first half to then be in front of your opponents. That's a bit mind-boggling. But I think that's the Italian way. Italian Serie A has always been defend heavy. They started the 5 at the back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point, like, I think Conte's contract is up in the summer.
Yeah.
So I think Spurs are just going to see it out, so they don't have to pay him any like severance package sort of deal.
Brendan Rodgers to Tottenham.
I could see it. Now, what team he'll have, I don't know, because I don't think Kane will stay.
I think Son's gone.
Son is the one that I could maybe see stay, but he's clearly not loving life under Conte. I guess Richarlison will stay because they just bought him. Kulusevski's technically a loan right now, but they have the option to buy, and I think they will buy, because he's been like their best player behind Kane. But like, Hugo's kind of on his way out, right? Like, he retired from international football, so you think maybe he's almost wanting to be done, at least in the starting position. Back line is okay. Like, Romero's decent.
He's a new signing, so he'll stay for at least a little bit. But yeah, I agree. Guys like Deere and even Doherty, who just got there. They have a pretty young squad, so this wouldn't be the worst thing to get off Kane. And kind of do a little rebuild. It'd be interesting to see though where Kane would end up. I think
United.
It's got to be United at this point, right?
Yeah, I would think so. They just beat City, but you got to compete with City and Holland, and I don't think Wout Weghorst is going to be your answer to that. Kane, I think he'll be 30. He'll have dedicated almost his whole career to Tottenham, and it just didn't. He's had some success personally in his career, which is great, but like, I think he would want to end with something in
Glory.
the trophy cabinet, right? Like,
you know who he reminds me of is Robin Van Persie.
Yeah,
very similar.
Yeah, so like, Van Persie had that long spell at Arsenal and did a lot, but unfortunately Arsenal couldn't really get over the line for a lot of their competitions, and then he goes to United and wins it the first season. So
it would not surprise me if Kane made that move and United win next season.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like you just said, probably a good time to just fully start your rebuild, right? Like
you have pieces. You have pieces to do it around.
Yeah, and so I mean, Conte will probably go. You'll bring in a new manager, so you can kind of start to form to that vision or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess getting back to the match, like Son was invisible as he has been all season. Kane popped up in moments, but just couldn't get past Ramsdale, Ramsdale had a great game.
Great game.
10 saves. And
is that the number?
Well, it's like 7 saves, but there's like 2 claims, 1 stop or something. Yeah. Or punch. And I mean, to keep the clean sheet away from home at Tottenham, this is the first time Arsenal's won at away at Tottenham since 13-14 when Arteta played.
I saw that. 8 years. That's crazy.
Yeah. Which, I guess it kind of makes sense for these derby matches. Like the home team is always kind of the favored one, regardless of form on the season. But, I mean, yeah, Arsenal just dominated the first half. Like Tottenham was getting nowhere near them. Second half, I think, was a little bit less comfortable, but it felt like one of those where if Tottenham had got a goal, then Arsenal just turns it back on, and I think Arsenal is always coming away with the win here.
Is Odegaard the man? Is he going to be the man of that club for like the next 5 to 10 years?
Man, I hope so. Like, he's just like he was always good, like the last season and a half or so that we've had him, and then this season he's just, I think, really just turned it up to a different level. He's scoring more, assisting, just
confident.
being that creative player, and he's linking up with everyone perfectly. And I mean, he's as far as what I've read, is kind of that like more quiet leader and like lead by example kind of guy, whereas like Xhaka's your more like boisterous, loud, aggressive leader.
Good to have both.
I think both of them working together is probably a pretty good matchup. But I mean, Odegaard it's just getting better, and I'm loving it.
Do you remember watching videos of him when we were like little kids? Not little kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were. He was a little kid. We were kind of little kids too. That was. It's crazy to see his arc into stardom and where he started, and Real Madrid fools. They always do that, man. They're so impatient.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like at a certain level, when you can just kind of get any player, like a Barcelona. Like Barcelona was terrible for a few years, but players were still like, no, I gotta go to Barca because it's Barca.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it, but I think at the same time, you sold Odegaard to Arsenal for 30 million, and you could have got a lot more.
They seem to do that with their midfielders.
Yeah,
seems to happen. I really just want to talk about the end of the game and all the craziness that occurred. From Ramsdale talking shit to Richarlison, even Martinelli giving him a little dig and no high five returned. Richarlison, I think he should have handled that a little bit better because he's so emotional when it comes to the game, and he should understand that if he's that emotional, people are going to be emotional back to him. And the fact that he's retaliating with dumb slaps to Aaron, and like, kudos to Ramsdale, man. He was just like, what are you doing? Are you kidding me? But then the audacity of the fan to come running in there and kick him.
That's just stupid. Like, not only are there enough cameras and people around you that like someone's going to find out it was you, but you're going to get banned from that stadium for life probably because you kicked him. It could be like an assault charge, and then now you have like a legal issue. It just, over I get a rivalry match. I get, there's tension and passion and all that stuff. But like, come on.
Chad, what would it take for you to kick a professional football player? What would it take?
I could never, because I know they'll kick me like 10 times harder.
Did you see the post game highlight with Ramsdale talking about it?
Yeah.
He's like, I felt a fan punch me. And he's like, dude, must be so strong where a kick felt like a punch. Because it makes sense. He feels professional kicks all day long. And he thought this little wimpy kick was a punch because he just doesn't know strength of normal humans' legs.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unfortunate. Like, I'm glad it didn't turn into anything bigger. And, both teams, it
could have.
like we're pretty good at like keeping everyone separated and stuff. But the scenes of Arteta running over and like
my favorite.
dragging people back and stuff, hilarious.
Did you see him chasing Xhaka?
Yeah. He had to go full sprint for that one. He's I know this guy could like murder this kid, so
dude,
get him out of there.
I bet his skinny jeans are not skinny anymore because he had to really stretch them out. That was Kristen's favorite part, was him chasing after him. That was like, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, then I think the team would have went and celebrated with the away fans anyway, but I think they went over there and celebrated like 10 times harder than they had planned to after that. Like, you got the home fans just so riled up over nothing. Like Ramsdale, he likes to do the little shithousery sort of stuff, and like, but the fans do it to you all game.
Yeah,
like,
he acknowledged that too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And at the end of the game, he didn't really do anything. Yeah, he kissed the badge and whatever, and then he's just walking over to grab his water bottle, and it all kind of erupts. But like, I don't know. It was just a funny turn of events, and I think Richarlison being involved in that is just better because he doesn't need to get that invested in that at that point. Like, I get you can be upset with the loss and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're not going to win every game. It's just how it goes. You win some, you lose some, and shake hands at the end of the game.
It's moments like that where Harry Kane's just going, "Get me the fuck out of
here." Yeah, I mean,
get me out of here. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, great day.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain. There's no way you can complain. Ben White had a good statistical game as well. Did I read that right? 8 clearances, 3 blocks, clean sheet.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. He's been excellent. Mind-boggling he didn't get to play in the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. As far as next week goes, Man United, Crystal Palace on Wednesday. That's going to be an exciting one. City, Tottenham on Thursday. We got Liverpool, Chelsea next week. And then Arsenal, Man United. Those are the key ones that I'm going to hopefully be able to watch. I think every single one I should be able to get my eyes on. And then a lot of like mid-table matchups, which I'm not like super excited about. I think a lot of them you kind of can decide the winner. We got relegation zone battles though. West Ham and Everton.
Ooh, that could be spicy.
Yeah, that could be good. That actually be like a decider for the end of the season on who moves forward. And then Newcastle and Palace, I think will be interesting, especially if Anderson can come back. And then we got City and Wolves, which we haven't seen Haaland score in 2 games.
Yeah.
Does he bounce back against the Wolves, or?
I think he could. Like, I feel like
right?
He should. Yeah. I feel like part of his issue for this game is he just hadn't really played in a little bit. Like, he sat out the whole FA Cup match and only came on for like the last 30 minutes of their League Cup match. So he just like maybe he's just out of that like match game mode, like fitness, and like this was kind of his first match back. So I mean, I think Wolves, you should be able to win and get Haaland back on the score sheet, but I don't know. I'd be okay with City collapsing.
Now, there's no way City drops out of the top 4, right? Because they aren't too far away from being out of it. They really aren't.
It's still pretty tight, so I would think no. But if this is really just Holland going on a drought, then uh-oh.
Yeah, but if he bounces back with the hat trick in this game, we're gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Here they are. They're still hanging.
Yeah. I mean, they got to get through Tottenham, which is always kind of their bogey team.
Two times in the next week.
Yeah. So I mean, let's go Tottenham on Thursday. See what you can do. But
those are almost, at least one of the two is a must-win game for Tottenham.
Oh yeah,
you
for
can't.
sure.
If you drop both, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think United, Arsenal. It's the only loss for Arsenal this season was away at United, and there was the incorrectly called off goal that maybe could have changed that game, but Arsenal at home has been pretty good, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just hoping Crystal Palace gives them like a good run for their money during the midweek and tires them out a little bit more. But I don't know. I'm feeling confident still. It's this Arsenal team still looks good, and we'll have the full week to rest. So,
and then after these next couple weeks, the beginning of March, we don't see any more weekday games for the EPL. So I think that's when it's going to get really dicey. Because we'll all be on the same page. That's when teams are all level up on games, and if you're not in the cup tournaments or Champions League, like it's strictly Saturday and Sundays. So I think that's going to be really exciting. I think we get one little blip in May with a couple weekday games. But it's like one or two teams. It's nothing special. So Saturdays and Sundays is going to be busy for EPL and us. So we'll have to get back in this trade-off. We're done traveling. I'm pretty sure we're chilling on weekends now. I'm so over getting out. And I got school started. And life's freaking crazy. I got 20 things going at once. With Hooligans pitch being top priority, of course.
Yeah.
So again, this is my therapy. I love talking. I love talking to you. I love talking about this. But I want to get some guests on here hopefully soon. I got to talk to some peoples, and we'll keep this thing going. But we got Champions League starting in a month.
I think so. I think normally
February.
Yeah, there's normally that Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Right around there. Kicks back up.
It's got to be soon, right? It's got to be. We'll have to look up those dates and decide on our teams. We should do our teams live. Next time we talk, we should announce our teams because I need a big comeback. And then after tonight, too, I'll release a halfway point email saying, get your rosters in because things are moving. And a lot of comebacks, though. People are making moves, and I think the standings are getting a little bit tighter. Above 900, up to 1,000. I don't know. Chris and Ryan haven't made moves, and I think that's not good for them. So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, I mean, they were fortunate enough to have a good lead on most of the table, so they could wait. But I don't know. It might have been smarter to make an early move and increase your lead potentially. But
unless you're me,
well, yeah, that's just unlucky.
It is what it is, Chad.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
You got goals for the week, players for the week?
Oh my gosh, I totally am crazy on that. Well, Sonny March is my player of the week for sure because he just dominated the Liverpool midfield and 2 goals, 1 assist. Amazing performance by him. My goal of the week, I gotta give it to Odegaard, man.
Yeah, I had him on my list.
That was sweet. His left foot is just money.
Yeah, and I'm glad he's shooting more because his left foot's really good, and it looks like for a while there he was kind of playing that Ozil role of just look for the pass before the shot, which is not always the greatest choice.
Y'all get so lucky with left-footed midfielders.
from Real,
From Real, jeez, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. Odegaard's goal is great. James Ward-Prowse's free kick, always crazy.
He would show up right now if he keeps Southampton alive.
He might do it. That guy's Southampton through and through.
It's amazing. If he ever, I feel like he's never going to leave that club.
I would think not at this point. Like I would assume teams have poked around at him in past transfer windows because he's always been the brightest spot of Southampton.
Easily.
And not only is he a good midfielder and experience, but his free kicks is like almost every single one seems to go in, or at least force a good save. But yeah, Solly March's second goal, where he's kind of like running a cross goal and then kicks it back across, was pretty nice. And then good old Welbeck with the little pop up over the Liverpool player, and
that made me more sad than anything. But it definitely wet. I gave like like one of those like, oh my god, dude. It's hard to believe that guy's still around. All right, so give me one though, because then we'll make a little template for them to throw on Instagram.
I mean, since you had Odegaard, I think let's just roll with that.
Okay, cool.
We both had him on the list, so
it was just money. It was just a great shot, and like to put up 2-0 like against your rival. That's I'm big on context. Sometimes it can be a really special goal, but doesn't mean much. I feel like that goal like cemented the victory and was like, yeah, okay, they're here to play. So that's just where I stand. Team of the week, we're going Arsenal too. We might be saying that a lot. And then player of the week, are you good with March?
Yeah, I'd go March. The other shouts I had were James Ward-Prowse and then just Ramsdale for being a rock at the back. But
yeah, I mean, Ramsdale. We've forgiven it to two Arsenal Arsenal
we can't
things.
Do all Arsenal.
No. And let me punish Liverpool a little bit here. James Ward-Prowse would have been a nod for me, but more context going against Everton, and they know it's Everton. Brian going up against Poole, that's kind of a bigger deal. So, cool. Let's make some templates. Let's get some stuff on Instagram. Let the people know. I'm ready to market us, man. Let's go.
For real. Speaking of marketing, you want to talk Chelsea transfers real quick?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask you, how many players have Chelsea signed since Todd Boehly took over?
When did he? What was the date? What was the official date?
I think it was officially like June or July or something like that.
Let me think.
But he had like pretty much the whole summer transfer window to play with.
Can you give me a hint? Is it double digits? Because I think it is.
Double digits.
Okay. 13.
Ooh, close. 14.
Oh man, I could almost list them, but
they just signed Mudryk. You forgot.
I had him. I'm missing someone I think from the summer. Do you have the list?
I don't have the list. I didn't care that much.
I kind of care.
Well, while you're looking that up, 14 players, almost 400 million pounds, and now like a 6-month period. Almost 400 million pounds. What is that?
It's 10th place, baby.
Yeah, like I get, their injury list is pretty significant now too, so you're maybe making some signings to cover that, but like to be able to spend that kind of money in such a small time frame is just ridiculous. Like, and especially this Mudryk deal, like as far as was reported, like Arsenal was pretty much the only real contender until Chelsea came in and just said, throw the money at you. Okay, cool. We'll take him. Like, which I get for the clubs and the players. Like, you want to get as much money as you can, but it's just wild what they're doing right now.
This is crazy. Looking at this, I'm on Transfer Market and just looking at the arrivals. You said there was 14? Oh, I guess the end of... Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We got Zachariah. Solina, which is a keeper. Felix. David Datro Fofana, different one. Bayaming. Santos. Chukwuemeka. I'm not sure who he is. He's a youngin. Koulibaly. Batty Shiel from Monaco. Sterling. Cucurella. Mudryk, Fofana. That's 13, Chad. Where's my
There's,
14?
you're gonna make me look this up, huh?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
And this is starting July 1.
Let's see.
We miss who am I missing here?
Sterling. Did you say Sterling?
I said Sterling.
Sterling, Koulibaly, Slonina, Chukwuemeka, Cucurella, Cassady?
Uh,
Maybe a youngin, but he's on the list.
wait, do you have the date?
August 19th. He's a midfielder. They signed him for 13.3 million. I don't know.
Say his last name again.
Casadei, Casadei.
Okay, he's not on transfer market, so
He might be a youngin then, but
okay,
they paid 13 million for him. So
okay.
yeah, Wesley Fofana, Aubameyang, Zakaria, David Datro Fofana, Badiashile, Santos, Felix, Mudryk, 14.
We'll call it 13, 14.
Well,
We're right there.
13 or 14, almost 400 million euros. These guys are getting ridiculous.
That's so stupid.
You know how big their squad is right now?
Oh, well, they've always had a crazy big squad because of all the loans. So I'm going to say 65.
You're going too big.
Damn.
Much too big.
I think it was at some point something crazy like that, though.
Like Premier League.
Oh, Premier League
squad.
Is there a limit? I thought you had to limit it. Maybe you don't. I'm going to say 32.
Yeah, they're at 32. The only team they have less than is Forest with 33.
Wow.
So remember, after all the signings of Forest, and we were like, they just got the most players. What the hell?
They spent like 120 million too. It wasn't even anything like. Maybe it was a little bit more than that, but it wasn't anything like this.
And, Chelsea's right there with them. Just, having spent more, but better players, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. But then they are doing a interesting thing in the football world, at least, with these really long contracts. Have you seen that?
Yes, the Mudryk contract is really 8.5 years.
8.5 years. From what I saw, his base pay is like 100K a week, but then there's performance add-ons and stuff. So,
okay.
But then I think all the other new ones are 6.5, 7 years. They're doing the long contracts, which, okay, yeah, you can kind of justify some of your pricing then over those years, but is this a safe move from Chelsea or a stupid move from Chelsea?
Well, if I'm going to compare it to any sport, baseball is doing something very similar right now, where they're essentially signing guys to 10 to 13-year contracts. Example, Giants just tried to sign a 28-year-old shortstop to a 13-year, $330 million contract, which would mean his contract would end when he was 42 years old. However, that contract was voided because he had some ankle problems, and then the New York Mets tried to sign him for a little lesser of a deal, said, oh, this guy's ankle is fucked up, sent him back to the team that he came from, and ended up signing a 6-year, $200 million contract. So there are pros and cons. Injury history is a huge concern. Luckily, it sounds like Mudryk doesn't have this history of injuries, which
but he's only played at a professional level for 30 games.
Yeah, some silly. How old is he?
I don't know how old. He's definitely young. I think 22 maybe.
So for me, the problem with that is the sample size of games he's played. You don't know if this guy's going to be a good great player for 8.5 years.
Sample size is small, and the league he's played professionally in is the Ukrainian league, which
no disrespect, but
no, they get a team or two in the Champions League and they play they don't
bottle out,
just roll over, but it's Premier League is just levels higher than that, and that was kind of Arsenal's deal with the price. Shakhtar wanted I think they wanted like 100 million or something, and um, Arsenal was just not going to get anywhere close to that. And I think the last offer Arsenal made was like, I think like 45 million up front, and then another like 20 in add-ons or something. And I think Chelsea's offer was like 62 up front with another like 15, 20 in add-ons. So it's like they didn't get their 100 million necessarily, but like even to pay 60 million for a basically unproven player at the top level is kind of wild. And then to sign him for 8.5 years. So, I mean, if his salary stays at 100,000 a week for, the 8.5 years, it's not a terrible loss. But at the same time, if he blows his ACL and is not the same player, you're paying him that for nothing for another 7 years or whatever. Like,
here's what's going to happen, Chad. If he does play up to that level, and he's going to say, you know what, I deserve more. I'm going to hold out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play for you anymore until you renegotiate my contract. That's such a athlete move right now in any sport. Oh, I'm not going to play. Get rid of me, trade me, fix things to make it better, or else I'm sitting out. There's a lot of power right now in players, rightfully so. They're the ones making the club money. But I just think there's this I am bigger than the club mentality for almost all professional sports right now. That's a little terrifying to show how much control and power they might have. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is now like the new trend to guarantee themselves this money for X amount of time in case of injury. I think that's what that contract is saying. In case I get hurt or I don't live up to expectations, this is guaranteed. But if I'm living up to them, I'm going to ask for more when that time comes.
Yeah. From the player perspective, I think these bigger contracts, especially when you're younger and stuff, like, take it. Like, you're at the very least guaranteed this 8-year, $100,000 a week. Like, that's life-changing money. And I mean, yeah, if you get injured, you're kind of protected too. But like, I just wonder, when that negotiation time comes for better pay, it almost will have to be a holdout situation, right? Because they don't necessarily have any standing contract wise, because you might want to renegotiate 2-3 years in, but you still got 5 years left. Like, why would they bother to renegotiate at a higher price for you now? Like, so I think we will see that holdout.
You put this contract with Holland and he has this season, you telling me next year he's not gonna say like, wait, I deserve way more than this. Are you gonna make it happen? Like, it can happen with anyone. And it'll be interesting to see if he pushes for it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I know there's this mystical financial fair play thing that is apparently a thing, but then City somehow got around it, and if it's intended to try and level the playing field a little bit, it's clearly not working. No one should be able to spend 400 million in a 6-month period. And I get it's, spread over the couple of years, but like, come on, like, you can't be making these kind of deals and then still call it fair to your lower table teams, because you want competition for that top 6. Like, this season is exciting with, Arsenal challenging for the title, but then also the Brentford, Brighton, and Fulham's and stuff, like, kind of coming up, and you want that kind of interchange at the top end. Like, Liverpool and City going back and forth for years is exciting, but at the same time, like,
not for anyone else.
Yeah, like that Leicester season was fantastic. They just upset the whole table. Like, I don't know. I get it's a lot of money in football, and it will continue to be, but I don't know. Chelsea's just
they're going a bit overboard. A little overboard. And it's not working out, so it just proves money can't buy you happiness, Chelsea.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but I don't know. It's I'm waiting for an Arsenal transfer in this window, because I think that'll be one of the deciding factors if Arsenal can see out the title, is just some squad depth. Because
who do you want?
I don't know necessarily names, but like there's no real backup to Thomas Partey. Like he's been pretty injury free this season, but last season it was a little bit rough. Like he had some issues. I mean, even Saka doesn't have like a direct replacement right now.
Yeah, but your top half of the pitch can be so interchangeable, I feel like.
Yeah. So I'm not like overly concerned up there. It's mainly just that midfield. Like Partey and Xhaka working together has been great, and then we've seen a few matches in like cup games where it's El Neni and Lakanga, and it's just completely different level and doesn't work as well.
Yeah, I don't know who would be a good replacement for Partey. That's a good question. I mean, a lot of players. I feel like that position is so hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, you basically need one guy to run your midfields. Like with the way that he's playing, and Xhaka makes more runs up into the box and stuff, so he's kind of the one defensive midfielder, but then he's also having to link the play between the defense and the attack, and it's a tough role to find. And
y'all should pry from West Ham.
Well, the rumor today that came out is that Declan Rice is the number one target in the summer.
Oh, so okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was going to say Rice or Susak or something to.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting with either of them.
I'd be down for Declan Rice, but I just feel like I've heard about him wanting to go to Chelsea for so long that that's probably where he'll end up.
Oh, I heard Man United on the other end.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I mean, yeah, I guess there's enough teams in the conversation. So, I mean, yeah, I don't. Arsenal won't pay enough to get Jude Bellingham. So
no, I was gonna say Enzo Martinez too, but that's a hefty price tag.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Arsenal will make the same mistake as last year and not signing anyone and then just missing out on well, this would be the title, whereas last year was top 4. But it's, I don't know. You kind of have to just play what the market allows you to, which
right.
It's a little bit out of your hands. But
and y'all are winning the league, so don't even trip. Don't even trip. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Flying high at the moment.
Yeah, you are. And I was gonna say, after this week, if Chelsea loses, they will officially be negative in the goal differential.
Ooh. Yikes. It's not what you want to see from a team with
$400 million spent. No.
Yeah. Wild.
Who do they play, though? Oh, they play Liverpool. That's right. So.
Oh, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Salah is going to whip out the Hattie against Chelsea.
I'll be so happy, but also so sad that I took him out of my squad.
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes. Got to play the form a little bit. And...
It would have been a great week if Mitrovic didn't miss that PK and Bruno and Anderson didn't get hurt. Everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we got anything more for the list?
I think that's about it. It's just looking forward to next week now. Get Man United at home. Should be another spicy one. Make sure Rashford stays on side and keep him in check.
And I did find my notes. I did have Liverpool 4th on my list, so I didn't get overzealous and have him second or third. So for now, we'll keep him at 4, even though my heart and spirit is pretty much shattered. Pretty much. You did not have him in your top 4, by the way.
I think they were right on the edge for me.
Newcastle 4, Man U 3rd, Man City 2nd. Would you switch that? If I gave you the option to switch Man U and Man City, would you do it?
No, I think I'd keep it there.
Okay. Good to know. I'm gonna note that. No change for Chad. All right, man. With that, anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
Another one in the books, episode 19. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Hooligans out.